We're all very familiar with Stephen Hawkins, who's a world-renowned scientist, and he's very handicapped. He's been very challenged physically with the disease that he has. So how do you differentiate that from where Terri was? We wouldn't think of terminating his life or taking away the support he needs.
You really can't. Anybody with severe disabilities. I mean, we've gotten to the point, and we saw it in Terri's case, where people with disabilities, people like my sister, have to now prove themselves that they're worthy of life. And what people don't realize is we're one car accident away. We're one accident away from being in a situation like my sister. The people that are everyone is. Yeah, I mean, people that are I say in favor of looking at Terri and thinking that she should be put to death the barbaric way she was, being starved and dehydrated to death, could in fact one day be the victim of their own bias when it comes to this, because this does not discriminate, this issue. So we must do everything we can to show our culture today that every life has value, regardless of what a person can or cannot do. And it just seems a little arrogant to me as man can now determine based on someone's quality of life whether a person should live or die. But that's what we're doing now. We are deciding based on what a person can do or not do, based on their physical appearance, whether they should live or die.
It's an interesting case, too, because Steve Hawkins is really not getting better. He's deteriorating physically, and yet his mind is really bright.
Right.
But even if his mind wasn't that sharp, or the day comes when he's still alive, but he's not able to respond at the same level, we would still protect him, right? I mean, normally. But that's a danger now, isn't it, based on what they did with Terri?
Well, it wasn't that long ago, 20, 25, 30 years ago, that the thought of killing Terri the way we did, that we wouldn't even do to a dog or an animal, would have been thought of as barbaric. But now we're doing it every single day in our country. So where were we going to be if we are now, with no really public outrage, starving and dehydrating to death, people with disabilities that we would have never done not that long ago, where are we going to be 5 and 10 years from now? So yeah, it could very well be the people like Stephen Hawkins and others. And I'm telling you right now, that what is happening in our country, I think people don't realize the magnitude of how many people are affected by this issue and how many people are being killed every day across our hospices, our hospitals, and our nursing homes every day in our country.
So we need to respect their life from the beginning to the natural end.
I mean, these aren't easy issues. We have to dedicate our lives to caring for people in these situations. But what other choice do we have?
No.
It really calls upon us as a society, reflects upon us as a society.
Civilized society.
Right, how we're going to treat our most vulnerable, because they are being targeted, they are weak, so it is up to us to stand and protect them, just like we would do for anybody that needs our help and protection.
Including the soldiers that fight for us.
Absolutely.
And that get harmed, and they're in dire straits sometimes, and sometimes they get worse, but they need to be protected. They protected us, now we need to protect them. And even the people who aren't soldiers deserve that same protection.
Well, ironically enough, you mentioned our soldiers who are protecting our freedom. There are soldiers coming back every day from war that experience these traumatic brain injuries that are in very similar conditions, even worse than my sister, that are not dying, and the only thing sustaining them is food and water through a feeding tube. So
and we wouldn't think of taking their support away. So we're choosing, which ones we can allow, and that's something that we shouldn't be in the business of doing, isn't it?
It's a form of discrimination, absolutely.
And socialized medicine will really impact that, wouldn't it?
Well, it's already bad, and I think we're being, again, naive if we think that socialized medicine is not going to only make this issue worse.
So you think Obamacare is going to make it better or worse as far as protecting life?
Well, look, anybody that has the values when it comes to life that someone like the Obama administration does, and the people he surrounds himself with, this anti-life mentality, again, I think we should be very frightened on how he's going to treat our most vulnerable. Obviously, he's already doing things with the abortion issue, where the unborn child is less protected than it was ever before. He came into office.
And he's going to Planned Parenthood and trying to help them get their funding.
Absolutely. I think we should all be very concerned, and we should be fighting. We should be fighting every day to do what we can to protect, as we said, from womb to tomb.
Thank you, Bobby Schindler, and it was a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you.
And we wish you Godspeed wherever you go and God's blessing.
Thank you.